Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another new edition of Africa Today, where we get you the latest news and events taking place on the African scene. And we will start off with our major top stories and reports. We start with the Minister of International Cooperation, Rania Al-Mashot, said that investment fund can be launched with the aim of activating economic trade and development cooperation between Egypt, Russia and Africa. More details in the following report.
Minister of International Cooperation Dr. Rania Al-Mashot said during her participation in the Russia-Africa session that took place as part of the 24th Street, the strategic partnership is reflected in many major projects being implemented, such as the Dabo nuclear power plant project that cost $25 billion and the Russian industrial zone in the Suez Canal economic zone that is expected to bring in investment amounting to $7 billion. Petersburg International Economic Forum in St. Petersburg, Russia. This forum is considered a global leading event that tackles economic challenges faced by the world and emerging countries. Al-Mashot mentioned that the Russian-African Summit and Economic Forum, co-chaired by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and the Russian President Vladimir Putin in 2019, highlighted Egypt's regional role as gateway for Russia business in the African continent in light of strong Egyptian-African relations. Al-Mashot tackled the available opportunities that would enhance the Egyptian-Russian-African cooperation within the framework of Egypt's distinguished position and its strategic relation in the African continent. The minister stated that the free trade agreement between Egypt and the countries of the Economic Union, Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and Armenia could play a key role in strengthening the Russian-African trade exchange between the African and the European Union and the establishment of vocational training and entrepreneurship centers in partnership between Egypt and Russia. The training centers shall be based in Egypt, where there would be an exchange of experiences and visions to train African cadres with an emphasis on the small and medium-sized enterprises sector. In September 2019, Egypt launched an initiative to test 1 million African citizens for the hepatitis C virus and provided treatment for patients. Egypt also worked in various infrastructure projects in Africa, and within the aviation sector, Egypt Air signed a memorandum of understanding to establish Ghana Airways Limited with joint investment in transportation. Egypt recently signed a cooperation agreement with Sudan in the railway sector to build a line between Aswan and Wadi Halfa, Sudan.
The number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in Africa reached 4,913,645. The Africa CDC said the death toll from the pandemic stands at 132,221, while 4,004,037,694 patients across the continent have recovered from the disease. More details.
The World Health Organization warned that the threat of a third wave of coronavirus hitting Africa is real and rising. A senior official from the Geneva-based UN body urged governments across the continent to urgently expand their facilities so that their health care systems do not become overwhelmed. WHO Regional Director Moiti for the Africa told reporters that many African hospitals and clinics are still far from ready for research critically in the COVID-19 patients. The WHO survey carried out last month found that most African countries have less than one intensive care unit bed per 100,000 people. Moiti said that this was a result of long underinvestment in health system among many other competing priorities. African countries have officially registered more than 4.8 million cases and 130,000 deaths from COVID-19, according to the WHO. The continent has seen a 20% increase in cases in the past 2 weeks. 8 countries have recorded a rise of more than 30% in past week, according to WHO figures. Moiti, a public health specialist and physician, said governments would need to prepare for a resurgence of the virus. She said the WHO was trying to assist with the provision of experts and essential equipment, including oxygen concentrators that can be deployed quickly when needed.
Welcome back, and still with our special reports. Africa has the lowest vaccination rate of all continents. African countries have received few doses so far, but even when doses are available, some countries struggle to get people vaccinated. More details.
As some Western countries reach herd immunity defined as when 70% of the population are immune, African nations are struggling to access coronavirus vaccines. Most have been receiving doses under the United Nations-backed COVAX scheme from the Serum Institute of India. But the Indian government in April banned vaccine exports to deal with its own domestic supply issues. African countries have administered vaccine doses to 31 million people out of a population of 1.3 billion, but only 7 million of those have received both doses. The WHO Regional Director, Moiti, said that the priority is clear. It's crucial that we swiftly get vaccines into the arms of Africans of high risk of feeling seriously ill and dying of COVID-19. While many countries outside Africa have now vaccinated their high priority groups and are able to even consider vaccinating their children, African countries are unable to even follow up with the second doses for high-risk groups. Moiti repeated Africa's ongoing plague that richer countries that have reached significant vaccination coverage now realize their remaining doses. Her call came on the same day by the G7 health ministers met in Britain amid increasing calls for wealthy countries to share COVID-19 vaccines with lower-income nations. U.S. President Joe Biden pledged to donate 75% of his country's unused COVID-19 vaccines to the COVAX Global Vaccine Sharing Program.
Welcome back, dear viewers, and we're joined over the phone by Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former assistant to the Foreign Minister. Good afternoon, Mr. Ambassador. Ambassador Bayoumi, Minister of International Cooperation, Rania Al-Mashot, has said the country can serve as a link strengthening Russian-African economic relations. How do you read this, sir?
This is one very important goal of our economic relation with the world, because since Egypt took the chairmanship of the African Union, we are defending this very poor continent. The flow of money going out of Africa is much more than the money going in Africa. That's why Egypt invited the Europeans, the Chinese, the Russians, the Americans, to come to Africa to invest there with the Egyptian experience. And of course, we have a long history with the experience, and Egypt and the Egyptians are very accepted states in Africa. So the formula can be accepted, and thank God that we are doing this now, because our Minister of International Cooperation is in Russia, representing Egypt in one of the very important conferences. She can also market for this idea. I hope it will work, because there are a lot of opportunities in Africa. There are a lot of experience in Egypt. There are a lot of money in the world searching for opportunities for investment. It takes us a little bit of homework also, because on our African side we have a lot to do.
Right. Well, Sir Mashad said that Egypt serves as a link through which the tripartite Egyptian-Russian-African cooperation would be strengthened. How do you think this is achievable and beneficial?
It can be, of course, achieved because we have very good relations in Africa. We are well represented in every single country in Africa. Same time, we have a long history with Russia. Russia used to be our main trade partner up till the 70s, and now we are trying to restore this market also, and to bring Russia with us in Africa. But also we are trying to cooperate with Africa in fields of trade, in fields of investment, in fields of technical cooperation. We have a long history there. That's why we are not starting from square one. We are starting a good process based on long experience with Africa, with Russia, with other donor countries.
Right, sir, Minister Mashat stressed the importance of Egyptian-Russian relations that have grown over the past years. How do you evaluate Egyptian-Russian relations?
Very, very important and historical also. And we left this part of the world when they left us after we started the peace process during President Sadat's time. Now Russia is a totally different economy. Of course, the communists have collapsed in Russia. Now they are following a totally different free market economy, and this suits us. And we see that we have to make all the efforts in order to restore our position in the Russian market also, because it occupies a good portion of our foreign trade and our exports. Why not to visit again this part of the world and to restore our position there? And I think that there are a lot of possibilities for success in such a very important fight.
Right. Ambassador Bayoumi, how do you view Egypt's role as the gateway of Russian businesses in the African continent in light of the strong Egyptian-African relations?
Thank God that the Russians appreciate Egypt and they know our value in Africa. I myself, I served in a couple of African countries with some Russian colleagues, and they know that we are very well accepted to our brothers in Africa, more than any other country in the world, because of course we are after all African. We have long history with them during the liberalization process during Abdul Nasser and his counterpart in the continent. Boutros Ghali has a very good name in Africa. Now we are restoring all this history, and all the time the Egyptian Fund for Development in Africa was sending plenty of our experts. Now we have the agency for development and partnership in Africa. What we lack really was the capital. We need more and more finance and capital, and here comes the role of our partners in Europe, in the States, in China, and also now in Russia.
Right. Sir, Minister Mashat pointed out the possibility of establishing an investment fund that encompasses Egypt, Russia, and Africa, with the aim of activating economic, trade, and development cooperation. What's your comment on this?
There are hundreds of possibilities. And as a matter of fact, according to my humble experience, you don't need billions of dollars. You need few millions of dollars in order to establish food industry, canned food industry, to start planting what we need of food in Africa, because they have huge areas of land which is not cultivated and not well used. And really, Egypt has a good experience there. What we lack it was finance. Now, if we establish, as the minister said, a fund between Egypt, Russia, in Africa, I think it can serve this goal and come to a very good problem.
Right. Well, I would like to thank you very much, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former assistant to the foreign minister. Many thanks for your insight. And dear viewers, with this we come to the end of this edition of Africa Today. Many thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more coming up here on Nile TV International.